Welcome to the ylni Farmers Market podcast. On this show, twice a month, we highlight and take a deep dive to get to know one of our 350 vendors of the number one market in the state of Indiana. Here's where we tell the stories that you won't hear anywhere else. I'm Adam Reno from Influencer.tv, and this show is powered by Solar Pros. For more information regarding your roof and a better option to save money on your electric bill, go to the description of this show and click the link for more information. And now, let's start the show. Today we're talking to
Josh Lewis.
And Allison Lewis with Caking at Midnight.
Caking at Midnight. So I know there's a fun story in there somewhere, right? So first I'll ask, how did you come up with the name?
Okay, so we have 3 kids. And
Enough said.
There's not a lot of time when they're awake to do anything. So from the very beginning, I've always done stuff at night, at midnight, when everybody else is sleeping. So that's how we came up with the name.
That's kind of what one could assume. And so I just wanted to make sure I thought that, and I knew that you had 3 kids. But okay, so, and quick side note, I will say that whenever I'm walking around at the market, I will say 7 times out of 10, when I see someone with a cake pop and I ask them where they got it, they say Caking at Midnight. So a special shout out to you guys, because
Thank you.
You are not the only ones that do cake pops. And I've had probably 3 or 4 others, and they are good. I've never, to be honest, if you like cake pops, I've never had a bad one, to be honest. But I just find it interesting that whenever I ask someone on the street, me and Ashley are starting to do interviews on the street with strangers even, and they just say Caking at Midnight.
Yes,
so
I love that.
That's pretty cool. I just wanted to say that up front. Okay, so a couple things first to get started then. How long have you guys been Caking at Midnight?
We officially started as a business in 2019 in August.
Okay.
And then COVID.
So right before COVID.
Yeah, right before COVID. So I was really nervous when COVID was starting. I was like, dude, I just quit my job. Like, we just started this. But COVID was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to us.
Really?
Yeah, it was strange but everybody, like, we were worried we weren't going to have anything, but then everybody wanted little stuff because they couldn't go anywhere. So everybody was getting like little cakes for just their family, and it wasn't just Friday and Saturday orders. It was all week orders because we can't go anywhere. So we're going to celebrate his birthday on Monday when it actually is.
Right. Because the time to go out to the restaurant is Friday night or Saturday night. But if your birthday's on a Tuesday during COVID, you would just be like, all right, we're celebrating Tuesday. Wow, what an interesting way to have your business succeed.
Yeah, it was like, I was very nervous because the kids were sent home and he was nervous. Like, what are we going to do for money? But it was amazing how many people reached out and wanted just little stuff. And then it's just grown. And all those people that started with us back then are now customers that have been with us for years now. So
yeah, and now they want to continue to support 100%.
Yeah.
So, all right, now we have to kind of back up and start from the beginning. So, because before 2019, first, how did you guys meet? I'm just curious.
Sure you want to tell this one?
You could. Well, you don't have to tell all the details.
Like the strip club?
No.
Well, now we have to know.
No. Josh is from Muncie, and I went to Ball State, and then I got a job at Menards, and that's where Josh works. So we met at Menards.
Okay, so you met through work.
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you guys been together then?
Is it 14?
Is it bad that we both don't know?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's a little bit, guys.
Okay.
Maybe
so
the year?
We got
2007?
We got married in 2010.
2010. So, yeah. So, it's our 14th wedding anniversary in a couple weeks.
Yes. But we knew each other 2 years before that. So, 16 years.
There you go.
16 years.
All right. We got through it. So, all right. It's been a while. I mean, plus, when COVID happens, it's like it throws off your years. I totally get that. Yeah. It's like dog years. Like, okay, so when you guys got married and everything, did you start baking at midnight? I mean, was that a thing already?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
that's when we did our first wedding cake.
Well,
ours.
Yes, we made it together. But
really?
Yeah. Before that, we met met at Ball State, but then shortly after I got there, I left and I went to Purdue to finish my degree there, which is in turf science. So it's not even close to baking at all.
But you just always enjoyed baking, or was it more, I mean...
I've always enjoyed it, but not anything to this level.
Well, but you certainly enjoyed it to the point where you made your own freaking wedding cake? Who does that?
We were watching a lot of Food Network at the time.
Yeah, but that was when,
It doesn't matter.
Remember Duff and his
I know, people
cakes?
say I've looked like Duff before.
Yeah. So we were watching that, and we were in school, so we had really no money to do anything
Guys,
else.
It doesn't matter. People still don't do that. This is... You understand? I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I'm just saying you realize, like, that's not a thing.
I know, but we did it. We did it.
Yep.
My aunt made the sheet cakes, and then we made
Topsy-turvy
cake.
Yep.
Now it was fake. The 3 tiers were fake, but our top tier that we saved was real, and we did that together. And then that was about it until Parker was born. And I was like, I'm going to make Parker's cake. So we made Parker's birthday cake. And then he was big into like dirt bikes, and we had his thing, and we were always going on dirt bike trips. And I was like, I want my own thing. Like, I want my own hobby, because I feel like we don't do anything that I want to do. So, sorry, honey. So now it's
we do everything you want to do
now, but it was all like dirt bikes and trips and all that stuff before. And then once Parker was born, we had those cakes. And it was just his cakes for a while. And then people started asking, well, do you make cakes for other people? And I was like, sure, that's okay. And then there was one weekend.
So they really tasted that great. I mean,
Apparently.
I mean, I'll say this. Like, I've had family members make a cake. There's other family members or friends that do not come to them and say, oh, will you make mine too? Like, again, that's not a thing.
But it wasn't like just a regular, sheet cake that read happy birthday. Like Parker's first cake was
a big deal.
A big thing. It had a dirt bike on top that was jumping over some dirt
Oh,
piles.
okay.
So they were more...
You left that part out.
Sorry. They were more detailed.
They were fancy, yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and then I do remember, I don't remember how old Emma is right now, but it was for her birthday and Aubrey's birthday, and there was 3 orders that weekend. And I said, I will never do more than 1 order again on a Saturday, because I was up till like 4 a.m.
Forever, yeah.
And I was like, I will never do that again. Last weekend, I did 300 decorated cookies, and I think there were 6 cakes that went out. So never say never.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you didn't know you were going to have a business at that point.
No, I would never have thought
that
it had grown to this.
Yeah, because we're not there yet. So, okay, so it's starting to build from there. Now you have other friends and family that start to reach out. Hey, it's Connor's birthday. Will you make a cake with a basketball or whatever, right?
Yes, and this was all stuff that I did at night because I still worked full time.
Okay, what did you do?
When we first started, I worked at Bruce Ewing, and I was the lawn applicator, which is what my degree's in, and I loved it. Love every part of it. And then I moved to another job, and then that's when things went south. I don't know how detailed you want me to get, but went south, so I quit. I called him one night, and I said, I can't do this anymore. We're done.
Yeah, we were on vacation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you decided to quit.
Yeah.
While on vacation. You enjoyed vacation much?
Yeah.
We were getting ready to go on vacation.
I'd like a permanent vacation.
We were getting ready to go on vacation, but I found out some things while I was there that day, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So while we were trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, whether it was still turf related, because I loved that, but then he told me how much we needed per week to survive, and I'm like, well, we're already doing that with cake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How long had this been going on that you were, unbeknownst to you, you were making enough already? Was this for like a month, a year?
Probably from like 2017 to 2019. Probably.
Yeah, for a couple years.
And just for 2 years, you're making X amount, and you could have quit.
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
But then he was like, okay, we need this much. And I'm like, well, we're making that much. So,
maybe I can just.
Maybe we'll just stay home. Because we had 3 kids, too. And the twins were little. So I'm like, you either have to make enough to send them to a sitter or stay home and continue to do what we're doing.
And besides, as they get older, I would assume they would be involved. Like,
yeah,
with helping and not being a burden of oh, I got to watch them and make sure they're okay, that can transform to, hey, go grab me this and help mama a little bit, right?
Yes.
Which is awesome, obviously. And they learn about entrepreneurship and doing something for yourself and all that stuff. That's great.
Right.
But wow, I love doing this show because, I mean, you guys aren't the only one with like a fascinating story, but they're just all different turns of like, oh my gosh, you could have quit 2 years.
Yeah.
That's not that's not a thing. This is very crazy.
So yeah.
So all right, so now it's 19 and you officially are doing this full time and you're going. Are you still just selling quote unquote out of your home? Like you're not going to places to sell at this point?
Yes.
Okay. So where does the market come in?
Well, so I worked with a guy, and he told me about the farmers market, the one on Bar Street, the one that we're at. And then he's telling me all this stuff about it, and I'm thinking like farmers market, like food, produce, just run of the mill stuff. And so one Saturday we're like, all right, let's go down there and check it out.
Well,
So
let's see it.
yeah, let's check it out. Let's actually see what it's all about. And it's like, whoa, this is here in Fort Wayne. Like,
was this 2020 then?
No, this was 2019.
Okay.
2019.
So summer of 2019, and it was like, well, let's see what we can do to get in. I mean, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. So then I think we submitted our application. I think it was August. I mean, it was late in the season.
It was late.
And Caking at Midnight was the name by then too, right? Like
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We kind of got to back it up a little bit because we started doing YouTube videos too in the summer.
Oh, back it on up.
Yeah.
But
That's when we started.
Oh, yeah,
That's why we came up with the name.
yeah. So yeah, we did the YouTube videos before I quit.
Mm-hmm. So we were
So
doing
that was
and
Josh's
making
thing
cake.
too, because Josh loves cameras and the video. He won't even let me take a picture of a cake with my cell phone and post it because it's like, that looks terrible. So he has to be the one to have the picture. Then he goes and makes sure it looks right, and then I can post it.
But isn't that the most adorable thing for your husband to do?
It is, until now I have like so many orders, and he's like, oh, cake pictures.
I mean, it's overwhelming. It's
Hey,
hard for me to keep up.
Mama's bringing home the bacon.
Right. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, keep up here. I'm like, if you want half of this business, you better.
What's
No,
mine is yours, and what's yours is also mine.
But
Yeah.
he does all the stuff that I have no idea about, like the
Like what?
LLC, the taxes,
Oh.
the insurance, behind the scenes stuff.
He handles all that stuff.
He helps with the banking stuff.
Hey, just so you know, that's worth more than 50%.
Exactly.
I don't know
Exactly.
about 50.
Thank you.
No. You never stay up past 10 o'clock.
Now I used to.
Doesn't anymore.
I'm getting old.
You weren't up at 4 a.m. on Saturday with me.
Man, that's
You
tough.
weren't up at 4:30 this morning.
See, there's give and take. Come on now.
See?
You guys, I am not a licensed therapist. I play one on TV, though.
Yeah, so no, he does a lot of stuff that I don't have time for or don't understand. And then
Yeah.
like, if he wasn't at market with me, there's no way I could get the cooler in and out. Like, it's heavy, so
Yeah.
he does a lot of that stuff. That's why when you asked earlier who's the face kind of like thing, in a way we both are, but you just
Yeah.
don't see what Josh does.
Right. No, that's fair. So that brings me to a question then, because I love this back and forth so far, and it makes me wonder if someone were to ask you, and maybe they were a couple, if they were to ask you your guys' advice for starting a business, knowing that as a couple, first of all, you're going to have ups and downs in the relationship, whether you own a business or not. Just if you both work 9 to 5s and love your job, you would still have, whether you have kids or not, right? That's just a relationship.
Right.
But you throw this into the mix, there's another, that's a whole other can of worms to go into. So with that being said, what is your advice for couples who want to start a business together?
You have to communicate. There's a lot of times I think a lot of our stress would be eliminated if we just communicated more. Like, a lot of times I'm like, why is nobody helping? Like, nobody's helping. And he's always like, but you didn't ask. And I'm like, well, don't you see that I'm busy? But if we would have
That's
just
big, though.
communicated that to each other, then neither one of us would be at each other's throat saying, You didn't tell me. Well, shouldn't you know? Well, just say it.
Yeah, that's big, because when you truly care about the other person, would it be nice if he could kind of read your mind and say like, hey, I know her pretty well. She looks to be struggling a little bit. Maybe I should at least ask.
Right.
But then at the same time, there's probably been at least one time where maybe in the past, not even of cooking or baking or something, just in general, where he's asked you and say, hey, I got it. Well, to a man, as I happen to be one, this does stick with us. Like, well, okay, well, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Like, so we can't read your mind. So just ask. I promise I'll be right there.
Right there. This man's a therapist.
I promise I'm not. But I'm just speaking as a man. And if there are women listening, we would love to read your mind, ladies, but it is very difficult, because you will take a hot thing of wax, put it on your upper thigh, and rip the hair from the root, and within 13 seconds scream, not because of that, because there's a spider over there. Mm-hmm. So you understand that as a man, we're not wasting any more time trying to decipher that.
Figure it out, yes.
We're not. We're done. We've had it. Okay, so because of that, we still like you and care about you, but we just simply don't know. We're claiming ignorance, so you got to believe us, right?
Sure, yes.
Tell me I'm wrong, dude.
No, you are totally right.
Okay, so that's huge when you say that, and what's cool is that you can recognize that and say, maybe I will swallow my pride a little bit and just flat out ask, like, hey, babe, I sure could use some help right now. Like, do you have some time? Man, that's really helpful to the guy, because he wants you to be supported. And so then, okay, now that was hers,
Yep.
but now we got to focus on you now. What would you say? Like, I know you agree, communication, but what is something then as the male in this,
I would say starting it, you need to establish roles. So she's the baker. I'm not baking anything. I'm not going to touch anything. If you need help packaging and labeling, I got you. If it's any taxes or anything like that, I'm not asking you for help.
No.
Or setting up an LLC or insurance or anything like that.
So was it like that from the beginning, or did you guys kind of learn the hard way?
Well, I'd say we learned the hard way. I mean, I knew she was the baker, but I think she wanted me to do more. But I just don't have
ask
that.
for help very well either.
Yeah,
so.
there's that too. So
And that's communication. Like,
Yeah.
you literally saying that, like, hey, sorry, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not good at asking for help. Well, even saying that out loud helps, So, okay, so I hear communication needs to be solid up front, and establishing roles, which goes hand in hand as far as communicating those roles.
Yeah.
Because then if something doesn't get done, there's no like, well, I thought you were doing it. Well, if it was communicated properly, all you have to say is, my bad. I was supposed to do that. I will, babe. My bad.
Yep.
And then move on. Like, so no, that's big.
It's the gray areas when you're not sure, then everybody gets pissed off, and then you're
But
mad
again,
at each other.
communication though solves that.
Yeah. So
right?
you just have to be open. So.
Yeah. We do.
I'm under a lot of stress.
Oh, come on now.
So talk about sales. As you said, like last week, you were just like going through it. It sounds like, what is an average, like an average order? Is it a bunch of cookies? Is it, we mentioned the cake pops, like what is average now? Or is there something that you can say, look back and say, oh my gosh, a few weeks ago we had this and that was insane. We've never done that,
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely grown and it's changed. It used to just be cakes and cupcakes, and then we started the markets, and then cake pops. And then we realized how much everybody loves the cake pops. And side note, my biggest reward is watching those little kids walk around with their giant cake pops and just seeing them smile. Like, I'm like, just take one, just for free, just because you made me smile. You're smiling. Like, that's like the biggest reward for me. So
That's awesome.
cake pops, as much as I hate making them, will always be around. But now that we do the decorated cookies, that's probably at least half of what we do.
Cookies and, well, now cake slices.
Well, yeah, for market.
For
but
market,
then
yeah.
order-wise, now that we added the decorated cookies, it's probably half and half.
Mm.
But then I've got to, like when you take the orders, you kind of got to watch it too, because I only have so much refrigerator space and so much area to decorate the cookies. So I might have time for it, but you might not have space to store it. So it's probably equal now as far as
sales. Yeah.
The cakes and the cookies.
Yeah,
cookies are just the decorated cookies are so big right now. It's insane. Like last Friday there was 144 that went out for an order. Another order was 36. Then the next day I had 36, 25, and 36 go out. And then that doesn't include anything for market.
Right, because you bring your own stash for the market
Yeah.
to sell and stuff, and that's a whole separate.
It's a whole different thing. So,
wow.
So trying to plan market out throughout the week and to get all that ready, and then make sure you save enough time for your special orders, because those have to go out at a certain time too. So everything comes to Friday and Saturday, and it's so stressful. And I make everything as I need it. So there's nothing that's
hanging back. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has to be fresh. So I can't, I don't freeze stuff. I don't have it in the fridge for a week and then give it to you. Like it's made right then.
Which, yeah, is really good to know. Yeah. That sounds insane. Like that sounds very difficult to pull off. So all we see is you Saturday smiling with your cake pops.
Yes.
That's all we see.
Like,
Right.
oh, this must be so easy. Here's your cake pop.
Yeah, no, and have it for free, kid. Like, no, like it doesn't. And that's why, again, we love having this show, because you get to know the behind the scenes a little bit more and find out the stories of people and how they got started and things like that. Let's talk a little bit more about the market. What is something about the market that stands out to you of why you're there week in and week out and not looking to do other things on a Saturday from 9 to 1? Well, I jokingly say 9 to 1. You're obviously there way before 9 and you're there after 1. But
Yes.
you know what I mean.
You want to answer that one?
Go for it.
I think Josh is burnt out on the markets just because it's every Saturday.
Because I do work Monday through Friday.
So
That's
then,
not my full-time job.
No, but then my full-time job, my busy day is, so I try and take off Saturday or Sunday and Monday. I try. Doesn't always happen.
Right, because orders come in.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then I have a hard time saying no, because I have so many good customers and I don't say no. But as far as the market goes, it's just a really good, it's profitable for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good moneymaker for us. It's a nice supplement to the income as well.
Gets our name out.
Yes. And then the people are so nice at market when you go there. And then there's people that come just for you. That's huge.
Pretty cool feeling.
It's amazing.
Out of 300 vendors there on a certain day, and people say, yep, I'm just here for, I remember, do you guys remember, I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but I was asking about signing you guys up for the podcast, and I was standing back like as if I was part owner of the booth. I was like standing behind there.
Yes.
And there was a lady, and she mentioned like, oh yeah, I'm here all the time for these guys. Like
every weekend.
That I just thought like that is so cool. Like
it's awesome. There's some that come super early and they know that I'm always there, at the very end, like rushing to get stuff, because I've usually just gone to bed, and he's like, we got to go. I'm like, sleeping. But I'm trying to like get everything set up real fast, and they'll sit there and wait for you. They're so patient. They're so nice, but they want to make sure that they get stuff, because they've been there at 11 a.m. and whatever I brought is gone, and they get so disappointed, and you feel so bad when it's not there. But it's a good thing,
like, hey, I'm popular, you got to come, Yeah,
it forces them to come earlier to make sure.
And then they do. Mm-hmm. And now, okay, tell us real quick, plug for you guys, what is the best way, if you're out and they want a special request, I hope I'm not giving you too much work.
No.
Like, you don't get an influx of like,
You're fine.
oh, we heard on the podcast we can order this way. Like,
no, you're fine.
But what do you like them to do if you're out of something they want to make a special order?
If they want me to hold something too, I will do that. But they can, all my information is on Facebook, but the email, they can text, they can call, they can do all that, and I'll save it for them. I have a lot of people too that after I do my lives, they see what I have and they're like, oh, save this and this for me, and I have to pull stuff and stick it in the cooler for them because they don't want it to be gone by the time they get there.
Right. All from you going live. That's cool. So Caking at Midnight is the Facebook page. Like, that's a good starter.
Yes.
You'd say? Okay.
Yes, and then it's cakingatmidnight.com is the website too.
Easy. Okay, cool. Okay, so have you guys seen, I know you haven't, I would never think you've seen every episode, and I would never think that you always watch to the end. So do you know what the last question is? Have you seen on these?
I don't know what the last question is.
Okay, which I always say this every time.
Okay.
And people who do watch to the end might be tired of me saying it over and over, or they're just excited because they know what the question is.
Okay.
So here it is. And I love when you haven't heard it because it's more genuine that way and it's more like real and raw. So if the mayor came to you guys and said, I am a huge fan, actually, of your cake pops. I want to order 100 and I need you to come up with a sign. I'm going to put this sign up on the AEP building as our tallest building, you know, or have one of those Fred Grody planes that have the message.
Oh,
yeah. Is that funny?
Yeah.
I say that every time and people know exactly what I'm talking about. Isn't that funny? All right. So the message is either going to be up there on the, you know, on the AEP building or flown around, but the whole 260 will see it. All of Fort Wayne will see it. What does it say? And I will, as I'm giving you time to think about it, I'll give you 2 ways to answer, the most popular ways. One is strictly as a marketing strategy. So as your brand is Caking at Midnight, you could look at it that way. Or you can simply say, I want to give a positive message to our city that has nothing to do with my business. I just hope they read this and that it helps them. So there's 2 ways that you can go about it. And with a couple, I usually leave it to you as far as, do you want to answer kind of individually? There's been a couple times where the couple looked at each other, nodded, and then they said it both because they just, there was such a phrase that they've said so much that they're like, but it doesn't have to be. So I leave it to you like that.
What do you think?
I'd say marketing. I mean, that's what we're going to do.
So what if
but then what would it say?
Yeah.
Caking at Midnight. Come get your cake pops here. I don't know. I don't know.
The thing that you always make me laugh because he says, "Oh yeah, get your cakes, cake pops, cupcakes, cookies." The only thing that's coming to mind is, yes, we really do cake at midnight, but that's not really
you say that all the time. Yeah, we had that.
That's pretty good. That's funny. I like that.
We really do cake at midnight.
Yeah.
See, there's that phrase where you both look at each other and go like that. That's it right there.
That's the one.
All right, take 2. Go like
That's it.
Yeah. No, that's good. We really do cake at midnight.
Yes.
That, because how many times a day do you guys get that, right? I mean,
I
people are asking.
Is that really when you do that? Or why? How did you come up with that? I'm like, and I always start with, we have 3 kids. And then they stop and they're like, we get it.
That's exactly how we started the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. Okay, so I love it. So again, remember, cakingatmidnight.com is the website. Facebook is a pretty popular way to find you guys.
Yep.
And pretty much every I mean, there's not too many Saturdays I don't see you, right?
Yeah, we're usually there every Saturday, but we try and take one Saturday off a month, and then he can, like,
enjoy his life.
Sometimes.
But like we're here this weekend, but next weekend, like, we're going on a dirt bike camping trip, and that's what we have always done, but that's something for Josh. So we try and take time off because he gets burnt out. The kids want to do stuff with us. So we try and at least take one off and plan something special.
That's one thing about the market that people don't always realize, because if you're just a customer going, first of all, most customers don't go every single week. It's just not something that...
Right.
But yet a lot of the vendors are there week in and week out, whether you're there or not.
Exactly.
And it's like, you don't think of that. You know, when I go eat at a restaurant, I don't think, oh, I wonder if they're open today. I wonder if they're there. No, they're just there, right? I just go and eat. So it's the same thing for vendors. And so it's tough, like a family that's doing that, to always be there every single time, but I will say at least 80% of the time you guys are.
Yeah, most of the time we're there.
You guys
And that's
are
the
there.
thing with market too. A lot of people don't realize is a lot of us vendors, majority of us vendors don't have a brick and mortar. We don't have a place to sell out of all week long. So we put so much into that one day, and that's one huge day for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, we might not be there every weekend, but we try to be. And you might not be there every weekend, but we're still there because that's our store. It's
Right.
open one day a week.
Exactly. It's
And
your chance.
we got to make sure that it's worth it. So.
Right, right. So remember, come down this and every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you guys for joining us with your crazy story.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for listening to the ylni Farmers Market podcast. Remember, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you can be notified when new episodes drop. A big special thanks to our sponsors, the Solar Brothers. For more information on how you can save money on your energy bill, give them a call at 833-765-2276. Also, 260 Roofing for a free estimate on your roof. Call them at area code 260-800-3031. Remember, for more information on the ylni Farmers Market, you can always follow us on our Instagram and Facebook page at ylni Farmers Market. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.